Hello, everybody. Sean Ellis from Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. And tonight we were supposed to have Miss Paige on, and we have to reschedule. I hope everything's going well with her, and we will have her on at a later date. That's definitely for sure because I'm looking forward to having her on the show. So, with that being the way it is, I have a surprise guest. She has a podcast of her own, and she's doing very well. And I'm going to bring her on the show, and we're going to talk about her podcast and some of the things that she's been doing lately. So let's bring on actually one of my sponsors, Tracy Jones, the Paranormal White Witch.
Hey Sean, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Tracy. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So, how do you feel being a podcaster now?
I'm starting to get the hang of it. There's still a lot I feel like I don't know, but that's okay. You learn in time. It's been so much fun, meeting all these new people, except my hacker and then hijacker, of course. But everybody else has been absolutely fabulous. So, I'm loving it. I'm having a good time.
Well, that's good. That's what it's supposed to be about, is having fun and meeting new people and everything else. We have Miss Tammy Christensen is in the house.
Hi, Tammy.
So yeah, that's great. I'm glad things are going really well. I mean, I actually caught your last podcast, and you were actually at the haunted.
Laurel House of Horrors
Yeah.
in Laurel, Maryland.
So, what did you think about that?
That place is absolutely freaking ridiculous. When I tell you that they have a doppelganger, they have a mimic, and they have a skinwalker there, they absolutely do. Plus a lot of low level demon type activity. Lots and lots and lots of residual. The place used to be a movie theater in Laurel, Maryland. And then I think it was like back maybe 2015, I don't know, around there ish.
Mm-hmm.
They converted it to a haunted attraction. And the stuff that they have in there is insane. They've got stuff from an asylum that used to be in Maryland. Like for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it, but it was had since been torn down. So they've got stuff from there. They have stuff from hospitals. They have old wedding gowns. I mean, it's just the whole place is like a big, pardon the expression, cauldron of everything brewing. It never disappoints.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling when you were walking through it. Mr. Randy Stewart, one of my other sponsors, is in the house. Hello, Randy. My sister lives outside of Maryland near DC, Tammy says. So, yeah. So, what do you think it's because of all the objects they brought in that's caused what's going on in there? I mean, the different
I think
objects
it's
from different locations.
I think it's a combination of a lot of different components. Like when I did the walkthrough last Wednesday, she was showing me voodoo signs that she looked up on the internet and wouldn't tell me what they meant. So I was like, Mandy, oh my God, you can't be doing this stuff. This is legit stuff. You just don't put down an authentic voodoo sign.
Right.
So they're very. She is incredibly open and bless her heart to everything. But I do worry about her from time to time. The others in the house in the theater, they have had like each one's had experiences. One had, I don't want to say a possession, but like a partial. It had a jump. We call it jumping, and then was able to get it back out. But that I've never been to a place. And I used to do tours up in Gettysburg, the Jenny Wade House and the orphanage over at the Soldiers Museum. And I thought that was incredible with activity. Doesn't hold a candle to this place. And no, I don't get a dime from them. I just I love
Wow.
these people. I think they're awesome. I would never go there when they're operating because people can snap and ghosts usually don't. So that's my philosophy. The witch
Yeah,
will not go to a haunted house.
I have to agree with Randy here. That was an awesome show that you did with them. Um,
Thank you.
I think they even said they had some people come in and cleanse the place, did they not? And it didn't
Mhm.
quite what they want.
They've had a lot of cleansings when they were there. The first time I was there, I gave everybody a cleansing who I was talking to, and the two that are most affected, I couldn't get my Palo Santo to light, not with them, until I finally just had enough and said, knock it off. I'm going to give them a cleansing. They're going to get a blessing, and that's just all there is to it. You can come back later if you want, but not right now. Right now, they're going to have a good night. And then it lit up. So,
I kind of glanced at some of the symbols that you were showing on the
mhm.
wall that they got in there, and I actually kind of looked them up myself. And
Okay.
I'll explain those to you later because I don't want to explain them online for if
Okay. Right,
kids
right, right.
or whatever. But to me, that's a combination of two different things, and that's not a good mixture either.
Right, right. Well, and I believe they have something comparable to a like a Dybbuk box in the room they call the kitchen, and that thing, if it doesn't have a portal in it, then I'm not 5'1", 3/4 in white.
Yeah.
It's definitely got a portal in it.
See, I'm kind of wondering because I remember you showing that live in your show. I was just
Hmm.
kind of wondering if there wasn't actually a mirror actually built into that box prior and maybe even taken out.
Oh, maybe prior, but there's no mirror in there now. They
Yeah,
do, however, have double facing mirrors, which I'm not thrilled about in the men's room. So,
yeah, we
yeah,
all know what double mirrors do for
you
sure.
want
And
to make a portal? There you go.
yeah,
Makes it, for those who don't know, it makes an infinity mirror. If you line up two mirrors just so, you'll just see the same reflection over and over and over and over again. And the theory behind it is that spirit can come through portals, and that creates a very easy portal for them.
exactly. Diane Mendez, hey from Alabama. Thanks for joining the show.
Hi, Diane.
But yeah, that was a really interesting walkthrough. And like I said, when I was asking questions after the show, when I was backstage with you, you know, how they got some of those objects and where they come from, you got to think there has to be some type of energy attached to those,
Absolutely.
especially with stuff that's going on.
Yeah, the mannequins that they had that you would sew a dress by, to do a dress pattern, they were in and of themselves 100 years old and authentic. Nothing had ever been done to them. So all those years, it's got a lot of energy in it.
Miss Marla Meacham, one of my teammates, is in the house. Hello, Marla.
Hello, Marla.
And Ms. Diane Mendez, glad I could catch your show live. Well, thank you. I'm glad you stopped by.
Hello
Yeah,
there.
I some of those places that you pick up at a secondhand store uh, and not realize it, it's got a lot of energy to it. And when you bring it into your
Oh,
home, it actually changes things around sometimes because of what that energy pertains. And some
I'm
people don't
sure.
realize that. So,
Sure.
and I've been to a location that has a lot of stuff that's been used, and you can definitely tell the energy. So if it's anything like I've been there, I know exactly what you're talking about when it comes to that type of energy being around. Mr. Victor Santiago is in the house.
Hello, Victor.
So, but yeah. So what's their overall goal? I mean, are they wanting to make that actually a haunted house? Is that what they're going to turn it
Oh
into?
no, it is a haunted attraction.
Oh,
They're up from, yeah, it's a haunted house, if you will. Um, I think they open in September-ish and then run to the end of November or something like that. So they're already a haunted house. So now you've got all the energy from people screaming. You've got
mhm.
the energy from the antiques. You've got the energy from just the people there, and there are quite a few sensitives there. And it's just, a big mess. But if you're into the paranormal, it's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, I watched that walkthrough that you did, and they have a lot of cool stuff. And like I said, especially when they got down there where you're talking about that box, that divot box that could possibly have been a divot box. That would explain a few of the things that was going on in that certain location as well.
Right.
I definitely like to see the marks on the bottom of that box one of these times. The next time you go back, just for curiosity.
Well, they want to come down for this one of their besties' birthdays. I figured, no problem. I'll reciprocate. They came on my podcast. I'll come down there for that. So maybe then. I don't know when the exact birth date party night is. And then they want me to come back sometime in November when everything's all done and everything's been stirred up to the nth degree.
We have Fleetwood Paranormal in the house. Hello, guys. How are you guys doing tonight? Diane says that sounds like a big pup. Yes. Guardian is a great Burmese, and he's 88.5 pounds, and he's sitting in the basement right now.
Wow.
He's a big boy. So he likes to bark at everything under the sun here lately. So
he's protecting Daddy.
Yeah, he likes to watch out that door, and he keeps an eye on everything. That's why he's downstairs right now, so he doesn't really disrupt anything. Sometimes he likes to jump up on my lap and get a little airtime because he likes to look at everybody.
Well, I've got 10 cats, and I usually do the podcast from the dining room. And on my sideboard, one night I had 3 of them just sitting there staring at me like that little megaphone dog, was cocked to one side. Oh, it's funny.
Still breathing. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad everything's still good for you guys. So, overall, with what you've seen there, did you give them any recommendations on maybe how to straighten things up if they needed to?
Most of my recommendations would have meant getting rid of what's there, and that's their bread and butter. So they have a lot of thinking to do, Right. So all I can do is suggest to anybody, whether it's somebody just in the house or some big company or whatever, I give advice. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm just giving you life experience. So
how did you feel overall in there, though? I mean, just yourself.
I felt fine.
You felt fine?
Yeah, I felt fine. This is now my 3rd time there. And the first 2 times, of course, we did an investigation, so the lights were off. It was a whole lot different. The very first time, they told me afterwards that they thought that the spirits were hiding because I was intimidating them, which they could have, because I made several mentions during the night that you're not going to hurt anybody, you're not going to go home with anybody, and we're going to sit and talk, and that's that. And the second time, it was really active, like they got a little used to me. And then doing the podcast, with the lights are on. So to me, it's a different vibe. But this way, everybody gets to see what's there.
Right. And it would probably be, like I said, pretty intense with stuff that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get down there to see that place maybe by next year.
They're amazing people too. Amazing people.
I'd like to go down and check that out myself because, like I said, I do like haunted houses in general. I used to work in one.
They have a Facebook page, Laurel's House of Horrors. You've got to go on it. Look at the makeup jobs alone. They are phenomenal. They look like something out of Hollywood. And the costumes and just the place in general, it is insane, but in a good way.
Tammy says there's an orphanage near you in Maryland that probably has a lot of energy as well.
Where is that, Tammy?
And Randy says Tracy can get you in.
Oh yeah, Laurel's, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to definitely go down there and check that out because, like I said, it was interesting just watching you walk through it and showing everything the way you did, and that was actually pretty cool. So I give you kudos for that. That was actually a good show.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Near Silver Springs. Oh, I don't know it. Do you know can you tell me what the name is, hon? Do you know that? And I'm assuming it's an old abandoned orphanage.
Might be, probably, definitely so.
There's an old asylum that then the oldest building is an asylum in Catonsville, Maryland, and then the other. Oh, sorry, I'm using my phone. Then the other buildings are more modernized, but the oldest building in this asylum or psychiatric facility is looking. It looks like something out of a horror show, out of like some old time. I can't remember what his name is. Vincent Price movie, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that place that has so much energy. I took pictures there years ago, and I don't even know what happened to them. You could see faces and all the screens on the outside. Everything the way, and I started counting like how the stairs were made, how the railings were made, how many this up and that over. Everything was 13. Everything.
Wow.
And there was talk that they would do some kind of black magic up in the center of the place. So I don't know. I just know what I observed, and that the place was insane.
Now, you also used to be on a paranormal team back in the day, right?
With Mr. Dave Bruce of Paranormal and Bigfoot Encounters. I always get that name wrong. Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's close. I get it
Okay.
wrong too because it's so long. It's like mine. Everybody gets it twist. It's a tongue twister, but that's fine.
Well, it's with Dave Bruce. Yeah, I was in his team for Maryland for a paranormal research team called Maryland MPRT, Maryland Paranormal Research Team.
So, what's one of the encounters that you come across that when you were on the team that was definitely questionable? Did you ever have one that you had to walk away from?
No, no, it takes a lot to scare me because I've seen so much stuff over 59 years that I don't know what it would take. I don't even want to think about what it would take to scare me. But I do remember. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Replacements with Keanu Reeves and
Mm-hmm.
Gene Hackman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, in that movie, when they went to, I think it was called Birch's Restaurant, might have been in Greektown, I'm not sure, but it was a legit place. In the movie, the head cheerleader, she ran that. Well, we did an investigation in there, nowhere near when they made the movie. But the first thing we noticed is when we were feeding cable down the stairs, all of a sudden, about 6 feet just took off. And I was standing right next to the woman. Nothing came out of her hand except for the cable itself. She didn't push it, she didn't drop it. And then when we went downstairs, I got to experience ectoplasm over by the heater. I thought I walked through a spider web, and I'm over there freaking out because I hate spiders. Yes, some witches hate spiders. I do. And they said, "Oh, you felt it. You felt the ectoplasm." I was like, "Yeah," and I didn't never feel that again. That was gross.
Was it like a residue?
It felt like you were literally going through a spider web.
Interesting.
That's the only time I've ever felt that, though.
I have to kind of pay attention the next time I'm crawling through a hole or crawling under a basement and stuff and see
There you go.
the same way. But I don't think I've ever encountered anything like that. I've had the spirit touch me before. I can actually feel their hand on my hand, and actually, if you let control of your hand, it will guide your hand where it wants you to go sometimes. So that's always interesting. I've had that happen a few times.
Right.
That actually takes a lot of energy just to do that. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, that would definitely be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I ended up resting Thursday and Friday after that one. Not that I was in bed because I was sick or anything, but I just found the more I give my body and my psyche some time to relax and calm down, the better off. And normally 1 to 2 days is perfect.
Yeah, definitely so. Sometimes that helps. Randy says she has a great producer and a camera guy. Yeah, I want to steal her camera guy after that show. He did a great job. That was That was actually your husband, wasn't it?
That was my husband. Yeah, he had never done anything like that before, and we were just using our phones. And the one of the managers down there, Matt, gave him one of those little plastic doodads that you hold and you stick your phone in it. So you're not actually touching the phone, you're touching like a skeleton around it. And that was a big help because both my husband and I have terrible fingers. We'll hit a button if we not need hit a button. So I was so proud of him. He did a great job.
Tammy, were you referring to the one in Manlius?
Are you asking me?
No, Tammy
Okay.
asked a question. She said, you had one try to push you. And I said, were you referring to the one in Manlius?
Mm, okay.
Yeah, because she was on a few investigations with the old team. Miss
Okay.
Christian was, so. But yes. And she's also someone very unique. I'll leave it at
Okay.
that.
That either means she has lots of gifts and skills and whatnot, or she's batshit crazy. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, she was talking about Manlius. Yeah,
Yeah.
Manlius was a whole nother ball game when we were down there, and I remember that investigation very well, especially the
Right.
last few times we were down there. So definitely, that's definitely good. So, is there any place that you would like to do that again at? Have
Oh, I'll
another?
go anywhere. I'll go anywhere. Somebody's house, another attraction, long as they aren't acting. Any of the historic places. I'm so close to Gettysburg. I think it would be amazing to walk through one of those, one time. But I'm sure that involves quite a bit. But yeah, just anywhere. If I had a bucket list place, I would like to go to Loftus Hall. I would like to go to Chillingham Castle and Lep Castle. Those would be my top three if I had all the money in the world and all the time in the world.
Yeah, that'd be interesting as well. Both those would be. It'd be interesting to go to Gettysburg and actually set up cameras in different
Hmm.
locations and just let them sit overnight and see what you pick up.
Yeah, there was one time I was up there. Um, Geez, probably 15-ish years ago, and it was kind of a rainy night. And I'm watching, and I'm used to seeing things, but the man I was dating at the time, he said, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" And what went across the front of our car was a man riding a horse. There was no
Oh,
man riding a horse. We could hear the clip clop. We could see the horse. We could see half the man. So
hmm,
I love that place.
that would actually be cool. I've never
Yeah,
seen an apparition of a horse, so that'd actually be neat to see.
that's been my one and only.
That would actually really be cool. So, you also practice witchcraft, right? Or
Yes, I'm a
Wiccan?
white. Yes.
Wiccan. And last week on your show, you explained what the symbols meant for a Wiccan, the pentagram and stuff like that.
Hmm. Pentacle. You
I,
want me to tell them?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. A pentagram is a five-pointed star. That's it. Pentacle is the same five-pointed star, but it has a circle around it. Now, back in the Middle Ages, long ago, of course, the 5 points represented the five wounds of Jesus Christ, and it was used to ward off the evil eye. Skip a couple hundred years or thousands of years, and you know how one thing always leads into another. It became a pagan symbol. And now for us, it means earth, air, fire, water, either self or spirit, or something, something like that.
It's linked to nature and grounding for
Yeah.
some of us.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because that's how I learned what it was, and because everybody kept saying how bad it was, how bad this is, how bad that is. And I mean, if you go in and start looking into it and looking at some of the history of it, some of the things really ain't that bad. It's all been Hollywood hype, a lot of it.
Right. Right. Well, what I said during that particular little snippet at the end of my show was that, a cross means beauty and love and acceptance and all these wonderful things. But what happens when you turn it upside down? It's the same thing with the pentagram or pentacle. It's the same thing. The swastika was originally thousands and thousands of years ago a symbol for power, but it was tilted differently. But I believe the Chinese, I could be wrong, don't help me. And then, of course, we all know that Hitler did his thing with it. But you
Right.
can take any symbol and have it be a beautiful thing or a horrific thing.
Very true. Very true. Tammy says, I was burned at my last life for a witch.
When you paid your dues, hon.
She's able to get into the Akashic records, so she's the
Okay.
one who showed me how to get into the Akashic records. Not the last one, the one before. Yeah, you're about one time frame off, yes. But yeah,
Okay.
Tammy has the ability to do that, to get into the Akashic records. She's the one that showed me how to do that. So
Okay.
she's she's very skilled at what she can do.
No doubt. No doubt.
So what do you think, from your point of view, being a witch, that people misunderstand the most about witches?
Well, I think the number one is that we're all evil and we're negative and we're in line with Satan. Witches don't believe in Satan per se as a person. Okay. Our belief is that there is evil and there's like the head of evil, but we don't go by that particular name, you know. So it drives me crazy when people say, "You're going to hell. You're doing this. No, no, I'm not." We no. I should back this up. There are different types of witches. There's white witch, gray witch, black witch, green witch, and probably a million others. But those are the four I'll talk about. A white witch is me. I can do no harm, and no matter what, I cannot hate anybody. And Lord knows, I was tested earlier in the week with that one.
Yes.
Um, there's a gray witch, which is both negative and positive. They'll swing whatever way needs to be swung. Black witch, well, that's all the negative. And a green witch is more of like she strictly uses garden and herbs and things like that, where I also incorporate candles, crystals, incense, things like that. So.
So, what type of crystals do you normally use when you talk to your guides and your spirits?
I have, I'm so bad at pronouncing names. Selenite?
Selenite, yes.
Selenite. Okay. My husband's in the other room going, it's selenite. I don't know why, but I've always been so horrible at pronouncing just about everything. So,
Some crystals are really hard to pronounce.
well,
Seriously.
the really stupid, funny thing is, I take a water pill every day for my kidneys, and that's called hydrochlorothiazide. Now, how can I remember that dumb thing, but I can't remember everything else?
Yeah.
Tracy is the nicest person I've ever
Yep,
worked
she
with.
is. She's a very nice person.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet,
She,
Randy. Your $20 will be in the mail as soon as we're done.
your gift's in the mail, Randy. We already told you earlier.
Oh, yeah. But if you act right now, we can double that.
For $9.95.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. We all have negative and positive. Yes, we do.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So, with what Tammy just said, brings up another question.
Hmm.
Can you balance the negative and or the dark and the light as well? Are you able
Yes,
to
I
do that?
can. Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I focus primarily on a day to day basis with the white side of it, and I'm trying to like help people and encourage people and pray for people and all the good stuff if I
Right.
need to. And when it comes to protecting my own, then while I can't cause harm and I can't hate somebody, I can certainly return their karma to them tenfold. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
where, well, for us, that's where your gray comes in. You're not actually wishing harm. You're not actually, doing something bad in our view, but you will let the world, the universe, take care of them.
Definitely so. I mean, I normally let Karma take her place first because she seems to do an amazing job. And sometimes it doesn't take long for her to catch up, especially
Right.
depending on what you've done. And I've seen more time and time again, sometimes you let it ride, it's almost worse than what you could have done yourself.
Right. Right.
And people don't understand that. People need to treat people like they want to be treated, and
Yeah.
everybody would get along better as well. You know,
Oh, I agree. I agree.
we have Mr. Darren Buss in the house.
Hi, Darren.
He's a paranormal investigator. He's got a podcast. He does a hell of a job of it on his show as well. But yeah, I normally let Karma do her job. I don't. I might give her a nudge once in a while and send her in the right direction, and
Right.
then let her do it because I do not want that coming back on me tenfold for
Oh,
nothing.
absolutely. Absolutely. I usually say something along the lines of, so and so, John Smith, did such and such to me. If you feel it is just and right, teach him a lesson. But that's it. That's as crazy as I get.
I mean, I know there's some things and spells that can be cast that can actually do some serious harm, and
Yeah.
that's not good either because you don't want to be that way. But
Oh, absolutely.
I've definitely learned, when you come across spirits in the terminology, fight fire with fire. So that's when you know both sides of it and you've got that knowledge, you know what you can do with it and what you can't. And that's better than not only knowing half, or better than knowing half of it, I should say. So,
Right.
and that's always a good thing too.
So you were asking me about stereotypes. I got two good ones for you. One, I don't smell like patchouli, because you would think, with all the hippy dippies. And
Right.
two, I don't put myself up to look like a goth person. So when people find out that I'm a witch and a medium, they're like, but you don't look like one. I bet you got a lot of tattoos. No, I don't. I don't have any tattoos. It's got nothing to do with my faith. I just never wanted any. But they're like, you don't look like a witch. Well, what were you supposed to look like, hon? What is your stereotypical of a witch?
Yeah. Diane Mendez says Karma's the biggest gangster of them all, and it is. She can be vicious. I I've
Yeah.
seen, I've seen her be really bad. That's definitely for sure. Have you had a location you had to leave because the energy was too high? Me
Um,
personally, no,
have you?
no, I haven't. Me personally, no.
I kind of left, but I didn't leave. When I did tours up at the orphanage in Gettysburg, which is in the basement of the Soldiers Museum, if that's even still there. Um, a little background story about it, real quick. Rosa Carmichael was the name of this lady who came to take care of the kids, but she was just a sadist to these children. It was awful. I feel she had a wicked attachment on her, but that's neither here nor there. I would
Yeah.
do ghost tours down in the basement for people, and I would ask Rosa, do to me, show them through me something that you used to do to the kids. And the last night I was there, hence last night, I felt like and tasted rotten, moldy, like a soapy sponge in my mouth. And then I would always get two of the biggest guys there who looked like that's the last place they wanted to be. And I put them on either side of me. And I'd have them hold me by the elbow and, by the wrist. And I would say, okay, Rosa, show me something that you used to do to the kids. And the last night I was there, my back legs flipped up real quick and got started pulling backwards into the other room. and it was
Hmm.
all they could do to keep me there. And then one of my girlfriends said, I looked down and I had a long summer dress on. She said it looked like a little kid's hand was trying to pull it the other way. So, but that still wouldn't have freaked me out too much. But when I got in the car, I saw Rosa in my back seat. I said, you know what, I'm done. It, it's a 50-minute drive one way. I'm done.
You've got to stay here, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, go home, Rosa.
Tammy says we need to remember not to rejoice in
Right.
negative karma, or it will come back on us too. That is definitely true.
Yeah.
And Tammy and I have seen this firsthand as well from somebody we know. So yes, I do believe in that. Mr. Darren Buss says, I used to be afraid of witches. And then his next comment is, what is your take on the old hag syndrome? I'm not
The old
sure I know
hag.
what that is.
The old hag is quite literally like it would look like an old hag to you, and she comes and she can smother you. And it's not. She's a witch, but she's not a witch. She's along the lines of like a cryptid, somewhere in that realm. Okay, real people, no. The majority of us are normal. You wouldn't recognize any of us on the street. There is no for a real witch. There's no particular look. We don't have to try that hard. We don't have to dress up in black and white, spikes and this and that and the other. And to me, that's just all nonsense. So, but if that's your thing, then more power to you.
Some gothic girls look kind of cute. I'll just throw that in there once in a while.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm 59. Ain't no way I'm going to be a goth older lady. That would just be sad.
But yeah, some gothic girls look pretty cute
Hmm.
once in a while. So, but yeah, that's definitely interesting. Have you ever been to a location that actually a witch has done stuff on? Like a location that you've been to that they have crafted spells or anything on?
Not that I was made aware, but I've been to locations where the energy and the activity was like the haunted attraction was so high. I know something happened. I know somebody recanted something. Yeah, I mean, recited something or another. I've been to a few houses where they swore they didn't do anything, and I see a Ouija board in the corner. It's like
Yep.
just to be honest, it's okay. So yeah, I've been to places like that, but I've never had anybody say, "Hey, so Sally Joe down the street, she's a witch, and she came up here and did ABC." That I haven't had, but I felt the difference in energy. It's hard to explain unless you experience it.
I've walked into houses myself that people has played with Ouija boards that don't know how to use them correctly,
Right.
and you can actually tell a difference sometimes in that house. Like you said, when you walk in, you definitely get a
It's
different
different
feeling for what's there. There's no doubt about it. Darren Buss asked, "What has been your greatest achievement?"
for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow! I'm going to say the podcast, doing the podcast because yeah, it's not so much paranormal it's talking about, but I consider it my greatest achievement because now people have a place to come and talk. And they know I'm not going to make fun of them, and they know that I'm going to take each question seriously because you don't know unless you ask, and there's a first time question for everybody. So, as far as my greatest achievement, period, well, besides family and all that, oh, all that other nonsense, it would be the podcast.
It's definitely cool. We've got a question here. I said, I would like you to try to feel the energy around me and tell me what spells I have placed on me. Well, to me, I've got to be on the property. I've got
Yeah,
to.
I have to be near you. I can't do it. And also, hon, I'm on a cell phone. So the odds of me figuring out what ooga booga you got, slim to none.
Yeah,
I
I've
could
got.
lie, but I'm not going to lie to anybody.
Yeah.
I get things wrong just like, everybody else. I always tell people this is what I have to tell you is what I'm seeing in the moment. That doesn't mean that you could leave a table or whatever, and you leave my presence and 5 minutes from now do something that would alter your life's course, which would then null and void what I saw. So I always say take it with a grain of salt. If it happens, great. If I forewarned you of something, great. But don't live your life by it.
Right. And like I said, I've got to be on the property and feel
Yeah.
the energy there myself in order to understand what's there. So being from distance, I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do that either. I can't do that.
I
And
wish
I
I
quite,
could.
well, I was gonna say, quite frankly, I think anybody that can is, I would be skeptical because that would, wow, I've never heard of it authentically being done.
Right.
I'll just leave it there.
I will agree with that as well. Some are very capable of doing it. I've seen some people actually be capable of doing it, but yeah, I'm more that type that
Far and few between.
yeah.
Sure, I do.
Why
Property's
wouldn't
not
you?
bothering me. Why?
Yeah.
What's going on at your property? Do
Do
you
you
think
think
there's?
spirits come through the cell phones or TVs? We know they can come out of mirrors. It's energy. They can
Yeah.
travel.
Back when I was with NPRT, we were going to do a case up in Frederick, and this is going to sound made up, but I swear to you, it's not. I Dave Bruce gave me the phone, and I was going to talk to the guy, the husband. And when I went to say hello, you know how in every movie you hear that gravelly demonic voice overtaken, so you can't get a word in edgewise. That's
Right.
exactly what I heard. And I said, Dave, it's above my pay grade. I'll go to a certain level of demonic, but not that.
Right.
So yeah, they can absolutely come through. Hi,
Um,
Dave.
Dave's in the house. Hello, Dave.
Talking about you, Dave.
I contact some of the darkest items known to man. Okay. Well, as long as you can balance it, that's good. I hope things are balanced for you because sometimes it could lead you down one of the darkest paths. But like I said, balance is the key to knowing a lot of things, and that's for sure. And I have come across a lot of dark stuff and dark people as well. And yeah, I have actually a few dark guides of my own. So
Hmm. Have you ever looked at anybody and their face looks um dirty, but it's not dirty to you? Have you ever experienced that?
sometimes, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
when you glance at them and it's like, okay, wait a minute. You had to stop, take a double take and look. And it's like, whoa, wait a
Mhm.
minute. Yeah, you can definitely tell that. And especially when somebody you're around, if their energy is really bad or really high, you can definitely feel the energy coming off of what it is. That's definitely for sure.
Absolutely.
If there is one thing about the paranormal you could change, what would it be?
I would say the bull crap shows on TV that just do it for ratings because it doesn't help anybody. I mean, let people know that sometimes you don't get anything. Sometimes you could go a year on different investigations and not hear a dang thing. And then there's going to be that one where everything is just falling in line. All the planets are lining up, and you get all kinds of responses. So I just it drives me crazy. I watch them. I watch them all the time, but it's like haunting. Everything is demonic. Ghost adventures, dude. Just at that moment, and it's like they all have their little niche of what's going on, and it just doesn't do anybody in this field justice.
Right. I think one of the biggest things I'd like to see is more teams getting along and
Yeah.
being able to work together. Definitely for sure. Um, because there's a lot of them that just sit there and they have a conflict, and I don't know why. I mean, we're all in this together. We're all trying to learn
Right.
the same thing, and we're wanting to understand what's going on.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's a big secret that what everybody's looking for, because everybody's wanting to understand what's going on. And
Right.
like I said, if we worked more together, we'd probably have some of this solved by now
Yeah.
instead
I
of
mean, there's nobody out there that I want to outdo. If I can help somebody, I will. But I'm not in competition with anybody. And the field's big enough for everybody. So it is
yeah.
what it is.
I'm not either, and I'll work with anybody that asks me to come along, or I invite. I don't have a problem with that because, like I said, we're all in it together, work
Right.
together. That's fine with me, and that's the best thing you can do.
Right.
Fake investigators and haunted items on eBay. Yes, I've seen some of those on eBay as well.
I wouldn't mess with
Uh,
them.
he goes, Darren Bus says,
Never.
"Amen, brother." Apps are fake cat toys and loose connection flashlights and BS. Um, the cat toys, I got to kind of debate on that a little bit because as long as you're not touching them and there's nothing around, it's hard to activate those sometimes, even pushing them in, depending on what they're made of and how they're made. But yeah, the flashlight, when you do the little bit of twist on the flashlight and it gives it that little bit of spark, I learned about that a while back, and I'm kind of thinking, what's the purpose of even doing that? I want solid evidence. I want to be able
Right.
to know that flashlight's actually twisted on, it's sitting there. So when that light comes on and on, off and on and stuff, it's because it's doing it physically or by mentally or however the form they're doing it. There's no sense of sitting there fidgeting that. I never quite understood why they did that, but
See,
I've heard,
I like to think the worst of people. I've always wondered if there's a remote control around somewhere.
yeah. The field is always evolving. Yes, that's definitely
Absolutely.
true, especially the
Yeah.
equipment that's coming out. I would love to have some of these spirit boxes that bring in less static and more straight talk. I mean, as soon as I get enough money accumulated, I would love to have something like that and have somebody build one, to spec that would take out that static and all that extra noise and tweak it
Right.
down a little more. Because I'm
Right.
sure there's some people that are very talented, and I've met a few people that's actually capable of doing that for sure.
Okay. That's cool.
See, Randall, Sean, your show is really, and Genius and Tracy's also. Yeah, what you see when we're out in the field is definitely what you
This is
get.
it.
There's nothing fake about that. So
I don't have the energy to be fake. The time or the inclination, they're all fake.
they're all fake.
Probably. I think some of them started out with good intentions, but then the networks want ratings.
Yeah, definitely so. I just got the tracer too. Well, that's cool. Well, one of these days, hopefully, we can team up and you can show me that cool toy you got and see how it works. And then it says, "My son is very talented, but blocks his abilities."
No,
Yep.
then he's not ready. It's okay if he blocks them. You don't have to, follow through with everything because we're all born with something to a degree. And, just through growing up, if you haven't had it in your family like I had in my family, you're told that, oh, it's an imaginary friend, it's this, it's that, it's nothing that you're just pretending. So,
And then Darren says, "Absolutely." And then he says, "Hi, Bill. Definitely for sure." Yeah, especially with siblings or young kids coming up, work with them. Don't tell them it's all fake or whatever. I mean, start working with them when they're a little younger, so when things start happening, they they have a better understanding instead of being in so shock. Sometimes I think some people are actually misdiagnosed with some things. Just my
yeah.
personal opinion
No, I
with
can see that.
things that's going on because you know anxiety, for example. Anxiety could be one of you're an empath and you're feeling everything around you, and it's just like your emotions are running wild. It kind of falls into that category.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not a doctor, but I would say, hey,
Oh, it took
something,
me years to learn how to deal with it.
yeah,
Years.
definitely kind of look into some of it instead of, because like I said, I think some people have more gifts than what they realize.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it.
Says, I hope Bill is doing okay. Joe's kids see the spirits in our house. Yep, I've seen them when I've been there, definitely for sure. And this numerology is one thing I got. I do like numerology when it comes to certain things. That's
Okay.
definitely for sure. And if you go back and study things like Tesla and numerology, it's really interesting. Something to
Okay.
dig into. It's definitely something to dig into. Well, we're down to our last 9 minutes, Tracy. Is there anything that you would like to say and promote?
Well, I'll just put this out one more time and then I'll just put it to bed. Um, my former account, which was my first and last name, was hacked and hijacked at the beginning of this previous week. So if anybody out there received anything from me that where I was asking for money or donations or something like that, it's not me. It's not me. It got so bad that Facebook disabled and just completely took out everything on my account. It's non-existent anymore. And the sad part for me, I don't want anybody else affected by it, but I had videos of my late mother, my son when he was a baby, the house I grew up in, I got to see it once. I don't know if that stuff's ever going to come up again in memories or what. So I mean, these people, they're asses. So
I
that
agree.
aside, and thank you to Sean Ellis and Randy Stewart for getting me through this week. These guys are awesome.
Oh,
Uh,
well, we will help you out in any way we can, Trace. That's definitely for sure. You're definitely part of the family, and
Thank
we will
you.
make sure that you guys have your show, and your show will continue. That's definitely for sure. Even that morning after you got attacked, I even got some toward my Facebook page, and I kind of posted a few, and some people chimed in and was like, hey, because I haven't seen these scams come up before, and some of them I've seen before, and it's like, oh, whatever. But these were kind of new. You
Yeah,
can go on my Facebook page or the team page, I should say, and see some of the ones they were trying to pull. Don't acknowledge them. Don't accept them. Um, Definitely don't give them a phone number because, like Tracy thought she was talking to a guest and ended up, taking control of her messenger and everything. So
yeah.
you
They
got to,
went in. They changed my email and my password, all of it, and I
so
couldn't do anything about it.
yeah,
But
I
that's then. This
guess
is now. Everything's fine.
Randy. Hey, Dave. But yeah, like I said, so you're definitely family. I'll help you out any way I can. And like I said,
Thank
anybody
you.
that's even been on the show, I will help out any way I can.
You're a
Um,
great guy.
for, when they're in the jam of what I can do, definitely for sure, because I'd like to
Okay.
see more para unity and more people
Yeah.
getting along instead of all this stuff that's going on now. And like I said, we're all in it for the same thing. It's no big
Yeah.
secret, and there's no sense of fighting and arguing over it. Everybody experiences things different, and you talk to somebody different. You might get another idea to do something that may
Yeah.
crack, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, I talked to so and so. He gave me this idea, and it's all good.
Yeah.
So let's see. Those are people who are assholes and
Yeah.
have nothing to do. I definitely agree, Darren.
Yep.
I definitely agree.
Yep. Absolutely. 100%.
So, well, Tracy, I would like to thank you for coming on the show tonight in short notice.
No
I
problem. Anytime for you.
I appreciate it very much. I'd like to thank you for also being one of the sponsors of my show.
No
I'm going to
problem.
go I'm giving a big shout out to Rockin' Randy for being a sponsor for WROK Radio as well. Thank you. And check out these guys' show. Also, Dave got a great show, and it's Paranormal Bigfoot Encounters. Is that how he pronounces this? Because I always mix his up as well. Dave, Tracy.
Oh, I don't know. I messed it up. I was just sitting here trying to visualize it. Sorry about that.
Because his is long like mine and a tongue twister, but yeah, Bigfoot
I think
Paranormal Encounters.
I think it's Bigfoot and Paranormal Encounters.
Yeah, he just typed it up here. It's a tongue twister for me. It's kind of like mine. Everybody says external. It's internal, but it's a tongue twister. So
I've done that. Yeah, I've done that.
Bigfoot Paranormal Encounters. Yeah, check out Dave Swigert's show as well. And like I said, I'd like to thank everybody that has helped out and made this page grow. I appreciate every one of you, and I appreciate everybody that's come on this show as well. So with that being further ado, I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend, and we will see you next Sunday. I will have a guest on. She was actually one of the people here floating around in the comments, but she will be on the show next weekend, and I'll make a flyer for that probably a little later tonight. Flyer for that show. But like I said, I hope everybody has a great night, and we will see you next week. And thank you again, Tracy.
No problem. Anytime, Sean.
Have a great night, guys. We're out of here.